Professor of Computer Science Dr. Christian Hammond predicts that 90% of news stories will be written by computers by 2030. In an article for Singularity Hub, Jason Dorrier documents how more news is being written by robots than you think. For example, just 3 minutes after an earthquake occurred last week, the LA Times published an article about the incident. And that's because journalist and programmer Ken Schwenker has developed a computer algorithm in concert with Christian Hammond that actually takes key statistics, numbers, and journalistic cliches and enables a computer, a robo-reporter, to form that into a news article. Which of course begs the question asked here by Wired News: can an algorithm write a better news story than a human reporter? And in the case of stories which are based on statistical data, such as earthquakes or sports events, that has already been accomplished. And now Christian Hammond, co-founder and CTO of Narrative Science, who helped develop the LA Times algorithm, thinks that 90% of the news could be written by computers by 2030. And the example given is this Venn diagram, where one circle is hard data, such as earnings, sports stats, and earthquake readings, and the other is a selection of journalistic cliches, and when you combine the two, an article is born. And while the LA Times is open about the fact that it uses computers to write articles, there are many other mainstream news websites that are basically using these robo-reporters without a disclaimer, completely anonymously. Which speaks to the emerging role of the mainstream media as little more than a glib repeater of official propaganda whose only skill is being adept at regurgitating official talking points. But according to Hammond, this shift over to robo-reporting won't merely be restricted to things like earthquakes and sports results. He believes a computer could write stories worthy of a Pulitzer Prize by 2017. So corporate media journalists have become so glib, so redundant, and failed so epically in taking on their primary supposed role of acting as an adversarial force against authority, that now top computer science professors like Dr. Christian Hammond are predicting that within the next 15 to 16 years, 90% of all news stories will be written by computers. This is Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.